Hello everyone, welcome to this second part of this video for the project Indian Premier League, which is meant for informatics practices students, IP students who are appearing for the CBSE board exam for class 12th. In this video, I'm going to show you the second part of my report, that is the data visualization part, where we are going to talk about the 10 graphs. In the first part of my video, I have already discussed with you the previous reports, 10 reports which we have generated. So if you want to go and understand these reports, please watch part 1 of this video. So let us talk about this second part now, data visualization, where we will be learning how we can use our data for designing the graphs for our project. As I told you in my report analysis that I have divided the project into two categories, of which has been discussed in detail in part 1. Uh, in the second part of my report, we are talking about data visualization. The first graph is for the top players of the for the player of the match. As the CSV file which I have used here is matches.csv, which is having the complete data set of the IPL matches. This CSV file has been downloaded from Kaggle website, and Kaggle is basically a website which is containing a lot of data sets where you can have a ready-made CSV files from there. You can also create your own data set as a CSV file, and you can upload it in the public domain in Kaggle also for other peoples to use. Now, based upon that file which I have downloaded, matches.csv, we are talking about the graphs over here now. The first graph is, as you can see here, uh, my complete data frame was A, out of which I have taken a part of the data frame in my previous reports, which I took it as a player of the match. You can see here. This was the report which was created, top 15 players of the match, in which I created a data frame by the name player of the match. The same data frame, the subframe of the main data frame, a small portion of that complete data frame is just stored in the identifier name POM. So I'm using this as same data frame name over here, and with the help of that data frame, I am simply saying pom.plot. Pom is the name of my data frame. I can use directly my pyplot library with the help of data frames by saying pom.plot. Now here, my first argument is kind is equal to bar. Depending upon what kind of graph I want to draw, I have to specify here kind is equal to bar for a bar graph, kind is equal to line for a line graph, kind is equal to hist for a histogram, and so on. So because I'm using a bar graph over here, so I set the first argument kind as bar, and the color I have taken as a cyan. This is a single color code. You can use different colors. For example, G is for green, R is for red, M is for magenta, K is for black, and so on. So for this particular graph, I have used in cyan color. And then edge color, you can see here that in each bar the edge is drawn with the help of black color. So I have taken the third argument as edge color is equal to K. For learning how to draw a bar graph in detail, I have uploaded my separate videos of bar graph in my channel. So if you want to refer that, you can learn bar graphs in detail also. But here for my project, I have used the minimum required portion. I've given the title to my project as what is PLT? PLT is the object which is taken from the library of PLT, matplotlib.pyplot. So this PLT object I have used in the library which I discussed in the part 1 video. These libraries are imported, already included in my file. I have developed this project on the Colab environment. Let's come back to our first graph. Okay, so PLT is the object which is being used for using my library of graphs. So PLT.title is the title of the graph, top performance is as player of the match, and then X label for giving my label to X axis, player name, Y label for giving the name to my Y axis, and accordingly a simple graph has been drawn here based upon my first set of information taken out from the complete data set. Now coming on to graph number 2, top 10 winning teams by win by runs. As I told you that my first three graphs are based upon the complete data frame, and after that the detailed graphs are based upon the subgraphs or a particular team taken or selected. Now, when I talk about graph number 2, top 10 winning teams, you can see here that the data frame being used here is DF1. Now, win by run DF1, this data frame was again developed or created in my reports, where I was talking about the report of winning teams win by runs. So, DF1 was created there. Out of that, the same data frame is being used here for the graph. So, if you go back, you can see here my reports. Okay, so you can see here that in my report I had already fetched out this information. Now based upon this information, now I'm plotting a graph. So this information was already stored in the data frame by the name df1. So this same df1 I'm using in my graph now over here. Now in DF1, I will be using only two columns. One is the winner column of my CSV file and another column is win by runs. So these two columns are being passed as a index, you can see over here, and then with the help of dot plot. Now dot plot I'm plotting a graph using a data frame, where again my first argument is the kind of the graph I want to draw, and then what I want to keep on the x-axis. I want to keep this winner field on the x-axis. So I've specifically mentioned as x is equal to winner, so it will take my x-axis as winner only, and the color I have defined here as pink, edge color as black, and then you can see here that one argument I have written here as font size is equal to 10. This font size is for increasing the size of the font of my content in my graph, because otherwise my graph content was visible in very small size. So I have just enhanced the size of my text in my graph. So this can be modified here. Again, you can see here that in my title also I have increased my font again. Plt.title, I have given this argument as font size is equal to 15. So you can see here in comparison to my first graph, in my second graph, the title is comparatively in a bigger font size. So you can increase your graph text size accordingly by passing such simple arguments. Then this simple things, x label and y label is for labeling the axis, x-axis and y-axis. This particular graph is talking about those teams who won by runs. So you can see here Mumbai Indians won by 146 runs. This is the previous report which we have already taken. And then the second top team is Royal Challengers Bangalore, and then Kolkata Knight Riders, and so on. So because we have taken only 10 teams over here, this data set is containing only head 10 function data. So if I change my values there, accordingly my data will change here also. Now coming on to the next graph, graph number 3. This is again on the complete data set. Again, DF2 was created in the reports earlier in my report section. The same data set is being used here, DF2. And now this time instead of with winner, another column which I'm using here is win by wickets. And again the graph being drawn is bar graph. X-axis I've taken as winner and the font size I've taken here as, rest of the arguments are all same. And you can see here I have increased my graph limit over here. So in each and every cell of my code, I have tried to cover small things which are required for the project for your presentation part also. How you can change the axis, how you can change the limits, how you can change the font size, and so on. So this particular command will help you in extending the y-axis up to a limit. So I have started, instead of starting my x-axis from 0 to 10, which will be otherwise by default depending upon the values in data being passed to the graph. But here I'm changing my y limits. I'm starting from 5 and ending till 12. So you can see here that these first 11 teams, they all won by 10 wickets, and the last four, because total 15 teams we have displayed here. Uh, sorry, it's not 10, it's top 15 teams. Top 15 winning teams. And here also let us make a change. Top 15 winning teams. Okay. So accordingly, all these IPL teams are being displayed in the descending order, because my data set, data frame, which I have used over here, is already being generated in the text reports. Now coming on to graph number 4, now which is talking about the specific team. As if you have watched my video 1, the specific team which I selected was Pune Warriors. So this data is talking about Pune Warriors only. The team name was accepted by the user and it was stored in a variable by the name team. This was done in the reports earlier also. I have already explained this in part 1. Let me go back. Uh, Report number 5, report number 6 must be there. Yeah. So you see here that we entered the team name as a Pune Warriors, and accordingly this data is being used. So this is the variable which was created here. The same variable I'm using here in my reports, in my graph. This is the particular graph you can see here. Okay, so I have fixed my this is the command for changing the size of your figure. In this command plt figure size 10:6, we are trying to change or fix the size of our figure in x-axis and y-axis. When I say figure size 10 and 6, 10 is for the x-axis and 6 is for the y-axis. So if I change the values on x-axis, let us say if I say 4, we can see that the graph size will shrink on x-axis like this. So similarly, if I change the values on y-axis, it will again change my size or in the height if my of my particular graph. So accordingly, depending upon my presentation, because my names were overlapping, so I have expanded my graph on x-axis, which can be adjusted with this particular command. Now coming on to this, now this particular graph I have not used using direct my data frame as I have done in my previous two previous three graphs. You can see here I have used a plt bar dot bar method. Otherwise, this is another method. Here I am using my plt object and the bar. I'm not using data frame dot plot. Now I'm using plt.bar method, another way of drawing a bar graph where I am passing my x-axis and y-axis now. My x-axis is win2.t1. Now win2 and win1, if you remember, these are the two data frames, smaller data frames which I have saved while creating my reports in the previous part. So you can see here win1 was holding the data for win by runs and win2 was holding the data for win by wickets. So same these two win1 and win2 data frames are being used here. So first of all, I'm using win2 for win by wickets dot team1. So win2 dot t1 means in this data frame win2, I'm using a column team1 as x-axis, and in the data frame win2 win by wickets, the particular column I am using as y-axis. And then the color code is being given here. This color code is red, yellow, blue, cyan, magenta and green, and if number of columns are more than the number of color codes being given here, then the color code is automatically repeated. And then a simple message for my title. You can see a teams defeated by percentage s. This is replaced by percentage team. Now depending, because I have entered my I have you can say formatted my output on the basis of my user entry, that is Pune Warriors. The user selected this particular team and the input was taken. So team defeated by Pune Warriors is being displayed here, and accordingly the string formatting command is being done over here. Now in this graph you see here that Kings 11 Punjab is showing me two color codes. One is yellow and another one is magenta. Why these two color codes are being displayed here? That is because of the data which is being received to us. You can see here for the Kings 11 Punjab in win by wickets. Let us go back to the reports, how my data is being generated, and then you will be able to understand win by wickets. So you can see here Kings 11 Punjab here and Kings 11 Punjab here two times in win 2, and in win 1. Sorry, let us cross check which graph we are talking about. This is win by wickets. Okay, so in win by wickets, you can see a Kings 11 Punjab and Kings 11 Punjab. There are two values for Kings 11 Punjab. So when I'm representing my team 1, I'm representing my team 1 column on x-axis. Now on x-axis, Kings 11 Punjab can't be represented twice. So what is happening is these two values 7 and 5 are being displayed in at one place only, and the bars are standing in front of each other. That means bar number bar King 11 Punjab for value 7 as well as bar King 11 Punjab for value 5. Both are being displayed at the same location only. Now, in order to make them visible, both of them visible on the screen, what I have done is I have arranged the data in descending order so that the larger size of the bar is standing at the back side and the smaller bar with a different color is standing in the front side. If your data is arranged in the descending order, then what will happen? The smaller bar will be hidden at the back of the bigger value or bigger bar or the taller bar. So you have to keep it in mind how you are arranging your data in order to visualize your graph. So you can see here 7 value and 5 value. Both is for Kings 11 Punjab. But my larger value is at the back and my smaller value bar is in the front. Both of them are standing at the front together because my data is sorted in descending order. So we can go back here again to see in my reports. You can see here that the data is arranged in the descending order over here. So that is why this output is coming like this. Okay, now coming back to our next graph. Rest of the values are self-explanatory. These are just the repetition of the previous graphs. Graph number 5. Now this graph number 5 is again talking about the specific team which is being selected, that is Pune Warriors. And here in this graph we are drawing a histogram or a frequency chart, we can say, where we are trying to find out how many times this team won by wickets. For example, number of wickets were 4. How many times this Pune Warrior won by 4 wickets? How many times Pune Warrior won by 5 wickets? How many times won by 6 wickets? And how many times it won by 7 wickets, and so on. So accordingly, I have created my bin intervals as 1 to 10 because 10 will be the maximum number of wickets by which the team can win, and the minimum number of wickets is 1 by which the team can win. So 1 to 10 bins are being generated, and accordingly the values have been taken from this data set bin 2, which is already created for my reports earlier. And win by wickets is the particular column, and then kind of graph I'm drawing here is hist now. Now bins are this bin interval which I have taken. These are the bins, and R width 0.9. Now what is R width 0.9? If I'm not giving this argument, then what will happen? These bars will be drawn very close to each other. So you can see here, if I delete this argument and then if I run this program now, my this graph will be very much close to each other, but you can see the segregation because my edge line is being drawn here as black. If I eliminate this also, then you will be not you will see this as a one single block. So just to make my presentation of my graph more visible and more appealing, I have made these changes to my graph. I have given the edge color as black, and I have also reduced the width of each bar by 90%. So if you're going to increase it more than 1.1, the bars will be overlapping. If we are reducing it, let us suppose I say 0.7, my bars will become very comparatively narrow in width. So accordingly, you can make changes, but I don't want to make much change, so I just kept it at 9. And then plt.x ticks. Now here I have specifically marked them as 1 to 10. If I am not marking them as 1 to 10, then what will happen? The graph will take the values by itself for the bins. But I want these intervals to be specifically marked as the ticks being given here. So every bin will be marked as a tick on my x-axis. And then the title is given over here, including the team name as the formatted part of my title, and I have increased the size over here, and then X label and Y label. Accordingly you can add it to your graph. So this is my graph number 5. Now the next graph is talking about the graphs altogether. So if I talk about individual graphs, uh, all these separate graphs which you see here are win by wickets. The same criteria I have used for win by runs also. So, but yes, now instead of making them separate graphs, I have combined them into one single graph. So you can see here my first before we understand these extra commands, let us see here. This is PLT bar 1, this is win 1 and defeated by win by runs, the same graph as win by wickets. The another criteria is win by runs. Similarly, the frequency graph which we have just drawn here for win by wickets, this is for win by run teams. This is my second graph over here, and the third graph is actually the number of matches won and number of matches lost. So if you remember, win was the object which was created while storing how many times the team has played the matches, Pune Warriors, and out of those matches how many matches were won by Pune Warriors. Let me go back and show you the details over here. This one, you see here, we had already found this value. Number of matches won was 46. This was taken out with the help of this command. Now, these were the total matches played by Pune Warriors. Out of these total matches played by Pune Warriors, the number of matches won by Pune Warriors was taken out by this command. So, the number of matches won is 12. Number of total matches were 46, and obviously I can find out number of matches lost is 46 minus 12. So, the same logic is being used here. If I come back down here, the same logic is being used here. So I have just created a list over here, win lost, so that I'm having both the values, matches won and matches lost in one list, and later on this list will be used for drawing a pie graph. So in my list, I have first appended win dot shape. So that means the number of matches won. So I can write a comment over here, number of matches won by Pune Warriors. And when I say win lost, B shape minus win shape, so these are number of matches lost. Number of matches lost. So now 12 and 46 minus 12, these are the matches lost. So now and what about the labels? Because the labels I have to create myself, I am writing two labels over here, won and lost. This will be marked on the slices of my pie chart. And then I am saying ex is equal to 0.2 and 0. This is for exploding. Exploding is if I do not explode my graph, then my graph will be visible as without any space between them. So if I run this command, you can see here that my pie graph is coming like this. But if I want to explode it, I will simply say 0.2. So 20% of my one slice will be exploded over here. And which slice will be exploded? The first slice will be exploded. And what is my first slide? My first slice is the first value of my list, that is number of matches won. तो जो पहली स्लाइस है उसको हमने एक्सप्लोर किया by 20%. Now if I want to plot a pie graph, the command is plt, that is my object for my matplotlib library. This is pie graph, and my win lost, that is my list, which is having the complete data set for my pie graph. And then labels, what are the labels I want to give? Labels I have defined here, won and lost. And then explode I have defined here as a 0.2 and 0. 0.2 means 20% for first slice and 0% for the second slide. So accordingly, if I have more slices, I can define the explode percentage for each slice separately. And then auto PCT 1.1%, 1.1 float. This is the value which I want to display in the form of float values on my graph, because these are multiple graphs, and the values are being displayed here in a very small size, but yes, it is showing me the output in a percentage form. And then font size 15, that I can display here, I can change here accordingly. Now coming on to the other commands besides my these separate graphs. First of all, my figure size I have defined as 40 and 12, 40 on x-axis and 12 on y-axis. Then I have given plt.supertitle team font size 40. Now what is the super title? The super title is a common title which I have given to my all the three graphs drawn together. Now plt.subplot, because I have drawn three graphs, so I will give the number as 131, 132 and 133. If I have two graphs, I will give the number as 121, 122. If I have four graphs, I will give the values as 141, 142, 143 and 144. So accordingly, how many graphs I want to plot in my one code together in the form of subplots, accordingly I will give a subplot argument value to all these graphs. So subplot, because I am using three graphs over here, so I am writing subplot 131 for the first graph, subplot 132 for the second graph, subplot 133 for the third graph. Now my first graph I have already explained you, that is a bar graph. This command I have already explained. Now my second graph is a histogram. This also I have explained, and my third graph is a pie graph, that also has been explained. So this is all about this complete project, where we have concluded it with the number of reports for on the basis of data analysis. There are 10 reports on the basis of analysis, and there are 6 graphs, 5 graphs depending upon the sets, 3 graphs on the complete data sets, 2 graphs on the subset, and 1 subgraph. Thanks for watching. Please watch my part 1 in order to have the detailed knowledge of how to do data analysis textual reports. Thanks for watching.